What separates us from animals? That's a question usually used in the context of morality, but let's actually explore that. What does separate us from animals? I believe that animals can have a moral code. I think animals can show courage and bravery, but also cowardness and betrayal. So, what is it? Is it government and order? Is it critical thinking or technology? To me, it's culture and the rapid changing of it. I believe that culture, meaningful and memorable culture, is formed by the art of the time. Hey guys, it's Drew. I was just journaling about whatever I'm journaling about, and I just thought I'd share. Alright, art is culture. If I were to ask you what company made the most money in the 1960s, would you have an answer? Now, what if I asked you who were the most influential musicians of the 1960s? I think you'd have an answer. Some might say the Beatles. If you're a freak like me, I'd say the Beach Boys. Or I don't know, Janis Joplin or whoever. But through that question, I think I've made my point that I want to make. There are no hippies without music and art. There's no punks without the music and art, and there definitely isn't any punk culture to derive from it. People will forget about companies and profit margins long before they forget about the art. So that's how I conclude art is culture. However, I notice that art really isn't welcome in our current culture for many reasons perhaps, but one could be that art can be potentially ugly. Ugliness, negativity, and sadness are not pleasant things to feel. I won't and I can't deny that. But because of this, art can be risky to sell. If this kind of art is risky, then those who fund the arts might be less likely to fund this ugly art due to ROI or return on investment, right? Are they going to make the money back that they invested into the art? Now, ugly art might just be ugly, but I think there's still so much value to be found in what some might consider ugly art. I think art can be a safe and healthy kind of way to like look into a mirror and be like, these parts of myself I think are really ugly, but they are a part of me. And, whatever you derive from that, there's meaning to be found. Talking on, I guess, specifically the 1960s, but really any decade where this kind of thing applies, the art of that time had some pretty jagged edges that were pretty abrasive as well to more traditional beliefs. But without these jagged edges, there would be nothing really for the art to hook onto, if you are hearing my metaphor here. There would be no hippies. I think I definitely said this before. There is no hippies without the music and art. And therefore, there would be no culture. Another reason why I don't think art is really welcome in our current culture is because I don't think artists themselves are valued. It could be argued maybe that artists were never valued in any point in history, but I mean, for me, I live in this time period. I notice that right now. I don't think I have to tell you this, but with the ever-looming presence of generative AI, it seems like artists can simply be waved away. Just waved away for people and businesses to save a few bucks. Now, I'm not saying that people or businesses should hire artists and pay them out of like pity or charity, but when you wave away artists, you're waving away art, and you're waving away culture, which is kind of my thesis of this, and actually that's where my journal ends. But now I'm thinking, I just did a whole bunch of deconstruction, I guess you might say. But how do we reconstruct this? What is the solution? What do we do from here? And my solution maybe is oversimplifying things, but maybe it just needs to be said. We need to create and engage with art that matters, right? If you're an artist, whatever your art form may be, I'm a musician myself, but whatever your art form may be, you need to create art like it still matters. As much as I think that the art that was created by college students in 2017 about like Donald Trump and whatnot, as much as I think that kind of art was rather on the nose and cringeworthy, at least they cared. And that part is not the cringeworthy part. At least they cared. You could tell that they were feeling genuine resentment and anger. And again, maybe for better or for worse, just the lack of self-awareness made it so that there was passion behind that art. I think this over-awareness of self-awareness is kind of destroying art a little bit. And that comes from us, the artists. Maybe just a little bit less self-awareness and more honest and sincere creation in our messages. Maybe that is the solution to all of this, because as an artist, I don't think the average audience member thinks about things the way that artists do. Not everyone is maybe as self-aware as artists. I'm not saying that to be like I'm a little special snowflake or whatever, but I mean, that's what makes us artists, is that we pay attention to things that often people overlook. But just a little bit of that to, again, have less self-awareness, be a little bit more honest with ourselves. If we're feeling these, I mentioned like ugly feelings before, to feel them and express them, even though they are ugly. If art is culture, like I keep saying, then us as artists have to create it. Now, on the other side, as an audience member, I think the audience needs to engage with more meaningful art. And I'm not being like the audience is dumb, rather the opposite. I think the audience is not dumb, and they deserve to be challenged, and they deserve to be pushed, I guess, in their thoughts and their thought patterns. I mentioned the hippies a couple times now, but I think that's what created the hippie movement, is that the artists gave the audience something to sit with and think about, and also push up against what they may have thought was normal or expected of them. I really don't want to go negative, because that's not the kind of energy I want to foster here, but so many people are just always engaging with slop. And as an artist, I don't know why they do that. I would think that if people have self-respect, they will engage with media and art that respects them and their time and their intelligence. For me, whenever I happen to be finding myself on like YouTube Shorts or Reels, I don't really scroll Reels, but like, you get what I'm trying to say. Whenever I find myself watching this like short form slop content, I like watch one or two videos and I'm like, what am I doing with my time? I feel stupid for engaging, and I feel like the videos make me feel stupid, because it's like these videos don't respect my attention span enough to understand that good things take time. So maybe I could just go on and on about this, but I think that it's a two-sided effort. I think artists need to create art that has potential to have meaning and staying power, but audiences also need to seek out and engage with that and share it. I obviously have no control over other people's actions, but I have control over my own actions. And as an artist, And also, as an audience member myself, I can choose to, I guess, make art matter again. Sure, that's all I got. Okay, peace.